How you doing?
Happy birthday, nephew.
That's simple. A lot of like to spend their money. We love to spend our money. We can't take none of this. None. Ain't no armored trucks pulling up at no funerals. Simple. So you better enjoy this. A fool and his money will part. We do this. So we
Yeah. So look, I do want to do a BMF film because you've been entertained by a lackluster, small budget series. Now it's time to do a big budget film.
Lil Meech just set the timeline on fire. He's calling out Rick Ross for allegedly finessing Big Meech out of a mind-numbing $120 million, and the culture is split in half. One side says Ross sold a dream. The other says BMF should have seen it coming. We're talking rumors, receipts, and a power struggle that's been building for years, and it's all crashing together right now.
It would lead to February 13th, the Big Meech Benefit concert. It's gonna be iconic. Too many names to list, but let me salute some of the legends. Lil Baby, Boss Man D-Lo, 21 Savage, Sexy Red, Ricky Rose. Now, this the first time it's ever been done. Me performing BMF with the icon himself. This be special. Epic. Get your tickets right now.
I'm back.
A quick Google search for you says that your net worth is $20 million.
I know I got more money than that. I might go 70 days without looking at my exact total amount of my money because it gives me anxiety, keep looking at numbers all day. It's like when you put money in stocks, the stock trader told me, say, put a lot of money in stock, don't keep looking at that. Drive you crazy.
On one end, you've got Ross smiling into the camera, tossing out birthday shout-outs and money talk like it's nothing. We love to spend our money, ain't no armor trucks at funeral. That's the vibe. Big boss energy, all gas, no brakes. Then he pivots, forget the lackluster small screen story. You deserve a big budget BMF film. He name drops legend, tease the kind of Hollywood rollout that sounds like generational history in the making.
Right now, my shoulder broke, but we still getting to the money. We still count paper. This ain't a pump and dump, baby.
Think about it. It was all part of the plan. 50 Cent and Rick Ross, they set up Big Meech. Freeway Ricky, Rick Ross, and now you got 50 Cent. He owning the rights to be.
The pitch, mega money, global strategy, a legacy locked in on the big screen. It felt like the moment Meech's name would be honored with something colossal, but the streets weren't buying the gloss. The whispers started first.
Take a picture with Rick Ross. Put your back against the wall and just slide down.
Talk about smoke and mirrors, pretty words with no paper behind them, no deal doc surfacing, no production wheels turning, just louder and louder promises. Meanwhile, the BMF brand kept getting dragged into the feed and the questions got ugly. Was this loyalty or leverage? Lil Meech added fuel to the fire. His message cut through the noise. This wasn't just business gone sideways, this was a setup masquerading as opportunity.
Ross taking a couple weeks ago about a girl that you're not even with no more.
We wearing Travis Scott's all week.
What is it with you and Ross that's just been going on for so long?
Nothing else works for him outside of mentioning me. When things get bad, you mention me. It gets covered further. I get covered across the board. They get covered on the hip hop blog. It is what it is. And you watch because I have nothing else to say. You'll just see it happen periodically as they go. You know, you see that big white elephant? That property he lives at? It costs more than the nightclubs. He's in the nightclubs. What kind of rich cut his own grass? Why are you out there cutting your own grass? You're trying to save money, nigga? You don't want to pay for the lawn to get cut, huh?
Ain't nothing wrong with cutting your grass.
And when the talk turned to a $120 package, the reaction was instant. Fans demanded answers. Bloggers spun threads. Old clips resurfaced. Suddenly, everyone cared where the movie money went and who was really cashing in on BMF's name. Then the promo wave hit. February 13th, Big Meech Benefit. Iconic lineup. First ever moment. Ross promising to perform BMF with the icon himself.
Biggest boss Ricky Rose just got word. Meech concert not happening tonight, but 305 is going down at the office. Meet us there. Bam!
Get your tickets now. That announcement turned the hype into frenzy, the kind you can feel in your chest. Except when the day came, the energy didn't match the promise. That's when the finger pointing began, and the rumor mill started naming names. At the same time, Ross kept flexing. Net worth chatter, boss talk, shoulder injury, and still counting paper.
When that song came out, that's probably like the hottest I ever seen a rapper. People was confronting Ross everywhere, 100 deep, with Larry Hoover Jr. 100 deep to confront Ross about saying the old man name in the song. Even some of the BMF guys for saying he think he Big Meech. When it come to Meech, Meech had guys getting BMF tats on their face in the pen.
This ain't a pump and dump, baby. He looked untouchable. But the more he talked, the more people went digging. And what they found made the narrative twist, because standing in the other corner was the one name Ross couldn't out-talk. 50 Cent, the builder, the one who actually turned BMF into a TV powerhouse. The guy who put Lil Meech through acting school and gave him a platform that skyrocketed.
I'm Big Meech, entrepreneur here at 5 Star Smiles to make sure that my smile is right forever. First off, image is everything to me. You know, so the first thing people notice is the smile. So knowing that I was going to be doing probably interviews and stuff like that and be in the limelight, I wanted to make sure that was the first thing I had did. And that's the thing, like a lot of people in prison, they neglect that.
If Ross was selling the movie dream, 50 had already delivered the franchise reality. That's when the lines hardened. BMF versus Rick Ross, legacy versus leverage, builders versus borrowers. On one side, glossy promises and big numbers. On the other, a track record of shows that print cultural moments. And in the middle, Lil Meech, son of a legend, trying to claim the best path forward without getting used as a prop. So here's where we start. The allegation sits at 120 M.
Yeah. So look, I do want to do a BMF film because you've been entertained by a lackluster, small budget series. Now it's time to do a big budget film. Which director? Shout out to my homie, F. Gary Gray, Antoine Foucault, what's up? Tarantino, it's a lot of legends. This is gonna be big, I can feel it. I'm just talking.
The Benefit show went left and the industry's loudest voices are circling. If this was just clout, it would have passed by. Now it hasn't, which means there's more under the surface than a few spicy posts and a flashy clip. Because once you follow the sequence from the bold movie pitch to the canceled night to the online sparring.
Take a picture with Rick Ross. You like a hoe, nigga. Put your back against the wall and just slide down.
The pattern starts to show itself. But that wasn't the whole play. Ross set the tone early, slick birthday shout-outs that we love to spend our money talk, and the line everyone clipped, there are no armored trucks at funeral.
February 13th, the Big Meech Benefit concert. It's gonna be iconic. Too many names to list, but let me salute some of the legends. Lil Baby, Boss Man D-Lo, 21 Savage, Sexy Red, Ricky Rose. Now, this the first time it's ever been done. Me performing BMF with the icon himself. Gonna be special.
Epic.
Get your tickets right now.
I'm back.
Translation, enjoy it now because the paper doesn't follow you to the grave. Then he took a sharp left. Forget the lackluster small budget TV version. He wanted a big budget BMF film.
You took a picture with Rick Ross. Put your back against the wall and just slide down.
He started floating heavyweight names, promising a rollout that sounded like legacy-level cinema. The pitch felt massive, a $120 million arc for Meech's story, luxury partnership, global reach, the works. On camera, Ross looked like the guy ready to do it right. That momentum bled straight into a date, February 13th, Big Meech Benefit. The promo sounded historic. Lil Baby, 21 Savage, Sexy Red. Ross himself sold as a one-night stamp where Ross would perform BMF with the icon. Hype maxed out, fans lined up, clips spread, and alongside all of it, the money talk got louder.
You took a picture with Rick Ross. Put your back against the wall and just slide down.
Ross did the casual net worth dance. Google says 20 $. He shrugs like it's light, says he avoids checking totals for weeks because watching numbers can make you anxious. Even with a busted shoulder, he bragged, the grind doesn't stop. This ain't a pump and dump, baby. But as the flyers flew and the countdown ticked, a different narrative crept in. Whispers about smoke and mirrors, people asking where the paperwork was, where the cameras were, where the production receipts lived.
Yes, Charleston White is correct. I'm a rapper, not a dealer. Be sure to catch my new show, 50 Cent, 50 Ways to Catch a Killer.
And in the background, a tougher claim started to surface from street corners and comment sections that all of this was part of a bigger play people didn't see coming.
Trying to decide how we gonna roll at this Meech concert tonight. 2 lambs, 4 Raris, 5 double R's, something like that.
A setup dressed like salvation. That's when the questions turned from is the movie real to who's really in control here. Except that wasn't the pressure point that changed everything. Enter 50 Cent, the one guy you can't spin with caption. From day one, he put real skin in the game. Bankrolled BMF the series.
I'm seeing a lot of about the Big Meech concert getting canceled. What I'm not seeing is anybody blaming Rick Ross for this. Nobody is saying, yo, Rick Ross
lined up coaches and pushed Lil Meech through acting drills until the kid looked camera ready. That wasn't charity. That was investment, structure, and a blueprint that actually worked. Fans watched Lil Meech go from the name to the face, and that didn't happen by accident. So when Meech started smiling in photos next to Ross, outside the ecosystem that built him, people clocked it immediately. 50 didn't throw a tantrum. He did what he always does. He trolled with precision. Wingstop jokes aimed at a prison address. Jabs about who's really feeding the legacy versus who's just feeding the algorithm.
A quick Google search for you says that your net worth is $20 million.
I know I got more money than that. I might go 70 days without looking at my exact total amount of my money because it give me anxiety, keep looking at numbers all day. It's like when you put money in stocks, the stock trader told me, say, put a lot of money in stock, don't keep looking at that. It's gonna drive you crazy.
And beneath the laughter sat a harder message. One of these men is building a catalog, the other is building headlines. Then 50 popped the hood. He hinted that behind the scenes, things weren't as disciplined as the highlight reel suggested. Stories about showing up out of it, tossing cookies during training, even a Whippets discovery he had to Google. Those were 50's claims, loud, messy, and designed to sting, but they landed because they came from the guy who actually had Meech on set.
Think about it. It was all part of the plan. 50 Cent and Rick Ross, they set up Big Meech. Freeway Ricky, Rick Ross, and now you got 50 Cent. He owning the rights to BMF.
Meanwhile, Ross doubled down on the movie talk, dropping director names like Confetti, Tarantino, Antoine Fuqua, painting pictures of a blockbuster that never seemed to move beyond the mouthpiece phase. The contrast got brutal. 50 spoke like a grown man protecting IP. Ross spoke like a hype man protecting momentum. Meech caught in the flash bulbs, leaned into the image-polished smile, brand deals, red carpets, while the foundation that put him there started to feel ignored. And every time Ross beamed into the camera, 50's voice got colder. If you're really for the legacy, you don't play with the name in public. You put in work in private.
This is the gentleman's side of Meech, right? Yep. The plane lands Friday night. It's like 12 midnight. Alex calls me. He's like, yo, Chris, Meech needs the biggest suite in Cancun. I'm like, I ain't no travel agent. He's like, no. When I landed, they told me that you got the presidential suite at the Coral Beach. I'm like, are you crazy? Like, I love Meech, but I'm not giving him my room. I'm like, yo, man, I'm not giving him my room. He's like, he'll give you $60,000 right now. I was paying $3,000 a night. He had that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. But here's the gentleman's side of me. I switched to another suite. I get a phone call. I'm like, yo, what's up? Who's this? He's like, yo, is this Chris Latimer? I'm like, yeah. He's like, yo, we up in the presidential suite. I got some messages from you. I'm like, all right, cool, man. Tell me what they are. And I'm like, yo, brother, man, thanks a lot, man. Yo, tell Meech, good looking out, man. He's like, Chris, it is Meech.
That's important because a lot of people don't understand. To get to the top, you have to pay attention to every small detail. Okay. And knowing me calling him hear my voice, he knows the kind of man that I am.
That's when the tone shifted from internet jokes to uncomfortable question. Did Meech pick clout over the camp that built him? Did Ross sell a dream that never got past the talking stage? Because if the movie was real, where were the signatures, the call sheets, the production dates? The more Ross talked, the more that silence roared. But that wasn't the moment that broke the spell. The breaking point was the night everybody circled on their calendars, February 13th, the Big Meech Benefit. The promo sounded like a coronation, too many names to list, but the headlines had Lil Baby, 21 Savage, Sexy Red, and Ross promising to perform BMF with the icon himself. It felt like history loading in real time. Fans grabbed tickets, promoters blasted the flyers. Even the skeptics fell quiet for a second, because if this night delivered, it would silence every rumor about smoke and mirrors. Then the floor fell out. Word hit that the show wasn't happening. Confusion turned to chaos in minutes. Timelines flooded with questions, screenshots, blame, and right in the middle of the noise, Ross pivoted like nothing broke. Biggest boss, Meech concert not happening tonight, but 305 is going down at the office. Meet us there. One door slammed, another opened, except the door that mattered was the one fans had paid to walk through. That's when the finger pointing started, and the rumor mill moved from simmer to boil. People close to the situation said the optics were the tell. If this was about honoring Meech, why did the energy snap so fast to a club flyer? Why did the headline act like the headline didn't matter? Meanwhile, the $120M talk kept echoing. If there was really a mountain of money and a movie machine revving, how did the most basic milestone, a benefit night, collapse at the last lap? The math didn't add up, and the more it didn't, the louder the calls got for answers that never came. Ross kept the boss talk rolling, network jokes we don't count every day, even with a busted shoulder. The money move never sleeps. It played smooth on camera, but the streets weren't grading delivery. They were grading delivery on promises. And the promise was a night for Meech that turned into a night for Miami. That switch flipped the narrative. Suddenly, the legacy pitch looked less like stewardship and more like strategy. Keep the spotlight, control the spin, redirect the traffic. Fans felt played, not all of them, but enough to turn the comment sections into a courtroom. Was this a hiccup or the mask slipping? Was the benefit blown for reasons no one wanted to explain, or was it never built to be more than a headline? In one sweep, the dream date became the receipt everyone kept citing. When it was time to show up for Meech, the show didn't show, and that's where the tide began to turn. But that wasn't the only voice that made it turn. Commentary started pouring in from every angle. Tony Yayo reminded folks what most already knew: 50 had been in Lil Meech's corner from the jump, not for headlines, but for the work, acting coaches, on-set discipline, a real lane into the business. That's when another voice cut through even louder. Michael Rainey Jr., Tariq from Power, dropped a line that went viral in minutes. He said he didn't feel bad for Lil Meech or Big Meech because grown men should have seen this coming. No sugarcoating, no industry politeness, just a sting that echoed across every platform. Ross tried to surf the noise like it was just more promo fuel, shouting dates, pushing tickets, fast talking the timeline as if the benefit blip was a speed bump, not a wall. Clips kept looping. Miami, Detroit, ATL. The cadence sounded confident, the comments didn't. People kept posting the same receipts, flyers, cancellations, and a whole lot of energy that shifted away from the man the night was supposed to honor. And hovering over the chaos was that clip 50 loved to repost. You took a picture with Rick, followed by the coldest punchline. Put your back against the wall and just slide down. It wasn't just a joke, it was a metaphor. To 50, posing with Ross wasn't power, it was posture. From there, the optics got uglier. 50 doubled down behind Michael Rainey Jr.'s take, framing the mess as a loyalty test that got failed in public. He painted Ross as a professional clout siphon, a guy who treats other men's legacies like refills for his own brand. And every time Ross pivoted back to boss talk, cars lined up for the concert that wasn't shoulder in a sling flexing, net worth banter. The timelines fired back with the same question. If the vision is as big as the talk, why does every milestone feel like a moving target? Then came the older stories people love to pull when the present looked shaky. Rumors about loyalty tests on the road. Whispers that Ross let his own crew eat punches to see who'd stand tall. The kind of folklore that's impossible to prove but easy to believe when the narrative tilts a certain way. It painted a picture: cold strategy, relentless ego, and an allegiance to momentum over men. Whether fair or not, the image started to stick. But that wasn't the only chapter fans brought back. Ross tried to flip the story like clockwork. He went right back to the camera, shrugging off the noise and talking bigger than before. Small budget TV wasn't enough. He wanted a big budget BMF film. He floated director names like Trophy, F. Gary Gray, Antoine Fuqua, Tarantino, painting a poster in your head before anyone saw a script. He promised the film that would do it right, as if the last few weeks were just warm-up chatter, except the timing made people flinch. A benefit night falls through and the next move is more movie talk. The optics weren't adding up. That's when Whack 100 barreled in. No fluff, no filter. He called Ross the real villain in the story. Said if there was genuine respect for Meech, the business would have been handled quietly. No circus, no chest puffing. To Whack, the flexing proved the point. This wasn't stewardship, it was spotlight addiction. And whether folks love or hate Whack, his take sliced through the static because it matched what so many were already feeling. Too much camera, not enough care. Ross kept the boss script rolling. He did the net worth riff again. Google says 20M, he all but laughs. Says he doesn't stare at balances because it'll drive you crazy. Even with a busted shoulder, he's still counting paper. This ain't a pump and dump, baby. It was smooth, sure. But by then the conversation wasn't about smooth. It was about substance. People wanted concrete. They wanted proof. The grand claims weren't just content. Then a darker theory started making its round. Think about it. It was all part of the plan. plan. Commentators stitched together a conspiracy collage. 50 Cent and Ross both orbiting the BMF name. Old Freeway Ricky versus Rick Ross echoes. Rights, names, power plays. It was messy, half rumor, half memory, all suspicion. Nobody could pin it down, but it spread because it captured the mood. Too many egos, not enough honor. Through the smoke, one story landed that didn't sound like spin. A gentleman's side of Meech tale. A late night arrival in Cancun. Phones ringing. A scramble for the presidential suite. A number gets dialed. A voice on the line. Respect shown. Money offered. Room swap. Then the reveal. Chris, it is Meech. No cameras. No chest beating. Just a reminder of how real power moves directly, quietly, and with detail that proves you were there. It cut through the theatrics because it felt like the man, not the meme. And while that story breathed, Ross jumped back online, bragging about buying masters, even tossing 50's name into the air like a dart, claiming he could buy that catalog if he felt like it. He shaded Lil Meech too, joking that 50 had to drag him out of Detroit just to teach him how to act. It was supposed to sting. Instead, it exposed the obsession, being the loudest man in the room, even when the room is tired of being loud. Then, when the applause got thin, Ross vanished from Meech's orbit. No explanations, no clarity, just silence. That's when the whispers got sharp. Insiders saying Ross was the reason the Welcome Home benefit collapsed, that he didn't want Meech's momentum to reset. Rumor? Yes, but it grew because the silence left space for it. Lil Meech tried to swing back, calling 50 an internet gangster, accusing him of hiding behind the algorithm, but the crowd had shifted. The memes had a mind of their own, and now they had a villain they could point to, which opened the door to a pattern people swear they've seen before. Here's where the stories from different eras start lining up like a checklist. Every time Ross stands next to someone with real weight, the same cycle pops up. Big promises, big optics, and a letdown that gets explained away in caption. Look at how folks talk about MMG when the cameras aren't rolling. Meek Mill, gunplay, others who once wore that banner proud. Public unity, private frustration. Missing checks, rumors, paperwork questions. Power moves that felt less like teamwork and more like control. You'll hear a lot of that's just the game, but when the echoes repeat across years, fans start calling it what it looks like, a system that keeps one man in the brightest light while everyone else fades when the storyline changes, and that's the part that hit the BMF situation the hardest. If you truly care about the legacy, the work happens quiet. Contracts get finished, dates stay dates. Cameras capture moments that already exist, not moments that only live on a flyer. Instead, the BMF play drifted toward the same pattern. Leverage the legend, talk up the empire, then pivot the second the heat gets uncomfortable. That's not stewardship, that's siphoning. And when the 120 mama number lands in the middle of all that, the public doesn't hear opportunity. They hear a figure you throw into the air to inflate a brand, not to build a foundation. Meanwhile, 50 kept stacking the quiet wins. He didn't need to tease a director to keep the narrative alive. He had franchises in motion. That's why the builder versus borrower line wouldn't die. Power, Raising Kanan, BMF. These weren't captions, they were calendars. When he trolled, it was to make a point. I'm not arguing vision, I'm showing product. And that's why his jokes cut deeper than the average clapback. They weren't just petty, they were proof. The more people replayed the tape, the more old chapters started to look like foreshadowing. Not just MMG, but the name itself. The Rick Ross identity borrowed from the real Freeway legend while the man was locked up. Courts got involved, the discourse got loud, and whether you think the rapper had the right or not, the branding play became the blueprint. Stand next to a powerful story, absorb the aura, then own the narrative louder than the source ever could. From the Freeway saga to the Larry Hoover name drops to now Big Meech, the critique writes itself. It's not homage if the people you're honoring end up with more turmoil than traction when you're done. By this point, the pattern felt impossible to ignore. Align with a legacy, announce a mountain, pose in front of it. If it crumbles, talk bigger. If it holds, take a bow. And the people who believed in the promise, they're left arguing in comments while the feed moves on. That's why this BMF chapter hurts in a different way. It wasn't supposed to be about clout. It was supposed to be about redemption, a rebuild, a second life done the right way. Instead, it looks like the same old loop, just with a heavier name on the marquee. But that wasn't the end of the timeline. Here's the bottom line. The 120M claim sits as an allegation. The benefit night collapsed, and the only concrete wins on record are 50 shows and Meech's name still carrying weight. If Ross had the movie machine he promised, we'd see dates, contracts, and call sheets, not just captions. So the question writes itself. Was this loyalty or leverage? Real ones build, loud ones borrow. Tell me who you think actually advanced BMF's legacy and who just tried to ride it. Drop your take below, like and subscribe, and we'll keep following the facts as they surface.